Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. We're here for our FPO feature card coverage, round one, front nine action. I'm Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and joined alongside me is Kristin Jennings. And Kristin, Winthrop Arena to provide this beautiful and majestic setting yet again, and we're here for a very important tournament.
Yes, I'm very excited to watch how the women attack this course. There has been a few changes, and we'll see those coming up.
Well, let's see what they have to do on hole one.
Hole one, 283 feet. You have a double mando to get through in the middle of the fairway, and it's a pretty daunting first shot, honestly. The double mando definitely gets in your head. You have to hit a straight shot to the basket.
Okay, with our final tee time for the first round of the 2022 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Teeing off first, representing New York, your 2021 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Champion, Missy Gannon.
And albeit one of the shortest holes on the course, like you just said, the double mando comes to mind, and just all of the nerves and the pressure of starting off on hitting this very small gap with your first throw of the day.
And Missy just laces it straight up the middle. Lovely skip inside the circle.
Representing Finland, Eveliina Salonen.
You know, not only are the double mandos tricky, but you have a low ceiling and the really tall rocks on the ground. So it's almost like a quadruple mando. You have a lot to think about on that first shot.
Very tiny window as Eveliina kicks off to the right side.
Representing Estonia, the 2022 Women's World Champion, Kristin Tattar.
Kristin opting for a forehand. Turns nicely. It's filtering a little bit. Good tree kick.
And representing Arkansas, Mertsch.
I very much understand the forehand. That's kind of a go-to for Kristin. A little bit more surprised to see the out of Mertsch, though.
She has been leaning on her forehands a lot more this year. You can see the display and confidence. Makes a lot of sense for this hole. Just see your target and shoot it straight.
Eveliina first to act.
Getting good height. Let's see if she can get the birdie with the fortunate tree kick. Solid start to her round.
Yeah, and clearly she's just been on a tear. She's never finished off of the podium here in 2022, picking up the World Championship title. And the only event she hasn't won in the last 6 weeks is one where she went all the way to overtime with Natalie Ryan just a few weeks ago at the MVP Open. So Kristin, a clear favorite here at this event, as we saw the birdie by Missy and the tap in there by Eveliina. And Kat is in for her par. We head over to two.
542 feet. You have a slight uphill off the tee. You're really trying to go in between these two trees that we just flew through. The basket position changed slightly to the right from last year. They did also change the parking lot. The parking lot used to not have a mando on it. Now there's a mandatory, you have to go right of it to prevent people from going over the parking lot. So a little bit more straightforward of a hole.
Yeah, and this is a really unique situation where actually the FPO tee is longer than the MPO tee. The FPO tee is what is traditionally the regular tee, and this year they actually made a shortened tee for the MPO side and consider it a par 3. So this remains a par 4, even though it's actually, and it certainly is longer than what the MPO competitors will play. Very interesting.
And Kristin, a little too nose up. Didn't quite get the speed on it. Eveliina with lots of power.
Absolutely beautiful Thursday morning to get the tournament started. I think we're going to see temperatures in the 60s and 70s throughout the entire week. Light winds, very scoreable conditions, and looking forward to seeing what they can do with it.
Light winds is something that you definitely want to take advantage of at Winthrop with all these OBs everywhere.
Great flexing forehand that's going to leave her short, but at least give her a long look at a birdie.
Missy swinging nice and wide, wanting it to hook back just a little bit. Beautiful. A little nose up. Still looks like it'll end up in the circle.
If you're taking note, we're already seeing just in the first two holes how many forehands have been used, whether it was off the tee or for the approach shot. I think that's just really proof that our women's division continues to expand all their skill sets. Obviously, Kristin here very comfortable with the forehand approaches, and she'll be right underneath it. That'll be a tap-in par.
Eveliina, good height again. And Missy for 2 birdies in a row.
Somewhat rare to see Missy not connect with any metal. And she does make the comebacker. She talked about it in the press conference, saying that she feels like she'll go out and do her thing, but then at the end of the day, she's going to rely on her putting, as it is clearly one of her strong suits. And Kat Mertsch in for birdie.
Hole 3, a par 5. So this is one of the changes that we have, a big one at that. This one's hole 3 and old hole 4 combined. So here we have hazards. You see the pocket in the middle and the pocket to the left. A lot of the women you'll see avoid that. They're gonna land right around here so that you have a straight shot to the Mando tree, and you want to make sure that you're going around that to the left, and then the basket is tucked in these trees on the right hand side here. A lot of the women I feel like are just playing for the easy birdie. Go down into the fairway, straight at the Mando. You know, don't get hairy, don't try to curl around the Mando or anything like that. And lay up and take the birdie. Cat's gone really high. When you put a lot of height on that, it brings in those hazards on the left. Woo!
Wow, and certainly flirting with that hazard line, but she's going to be safe.
This looks like it's a really fun tee shot.
If by fun you mean dangerous, yes.
Well, it used to be a shorter hole, so now you can kind of let one go. It's a little downhill.
And that is just about perfect for throwing a tee shot here off of 3. See
Really
what
good
Kristin.
position. Also looking great. That had a lot of flip up to it, getting a lot of distance forward.
Honestly, they're making it look much easier than this shot is and what's required of them. So far, 3 nearly perfect tee shots. As this comes in as the 6th most difficult hole on the course, it averaged .29 over par. So,
Oh, wow.
like you said, playing for 4 is great, playing for the birdie, but the course overall, it averaged 5.29. 4 inbounds drives, very impressive.
Yeah, very easy to leak left into that hazard off the tee pad. Kristin with a nice flip up forehand. Makes it slightly past the Mando. Kat again with the forehand. She's really utilizing this already in 3 holes. Missy wanting that to turn a little bit. Looks like a little bit of an early release.
Yeah, I was thinking just that, whether it was possibly an early release or a slip out of her hand, something like that, pushing her off to the left side, so her angle's going to be somewhat cut off. Solid second shot by Eveliina, so pretty solid second shots here to set themselves up for still what could be birdie 4s.
Missy a little short on her approach. I'll leave her just outside the circle.
Yeah, and both of those missed opportunities. That was good positioning for Kat, and you could hear her with her little self-reflection. Not exactly what she wanted, as Eveliina puts it just outside the bullseye. That's a great shot. And this is, you should be able to put this in the bank all day. Easy work here for Kristin. Also right to the bullseye's edge.
Kat not much to work with, just decides for the pitch up. Missy, on the other hand, might have a window.
Yeah, it feels like these trees have really either, I don't know if they intentionally cleared them out and have trimmed and selectively taken out a few of the branches, or if it's just natural or what's been happening, but I feel like they were a lot thicker in years past.
Yes, yeah, they are a little more sparse this year.
And no problem as they've navigated 3 to 4. We can take a quick look at what we're seeing after 3 holes. Katrina Allen starting off with the turkey, getting all 3 holes.
Wow, and everybody just tied one down.
We'll start moving over to hole 4, which is also new for this year.
Yeah, 249-foot par 3, a very narrow fairway. I would say it's about 20 to 25 feet wide. It might be a little generous. You just have to hit a Mando earlier off the tee and work your way up to the basket. I feel like a lot of the plays are either putters or mids, just kind of shooting them as straight as you can. Oh, looks like she's made the Mando.
Well,
she hasn't missed it yet.
Yeah, correct. I think that's the better way to put it, is she squared up the Mando tree, so she has not missed it. I feel like if you're going to miss or you're looking for a late kick, anything that pushes you out to the left, and in this case from that view it's to the right, that's where there's more open space. So if you don't navigate the entire corridor, you want to leak out left side, if anywhere.
Ooh, this is looking good. The farthest of the bunch.
So she must go to the right of this mandatory sign that you're seeing, as opposed to taking the much more open left side. And see, she connects with another tree, so that'll be a long look to save the par. Not likely. Here's Kristin.
Oh, it just squares it. Yeah, I found personally that the right side's much more tricky to navigate than the left side.
And so 249 feet, providing plenty of challenge. Kristin has that left. That's to save her bogey. And it feels like they're trying to tag every tree on this hole.
Oh, my goodness. This hole that had made its debut a couple years ago, and it actually used to be 2 mandos, one closer to the tee pad and one closer to the basket. I think that one got some pretty bad feedback. So
Wow.
they narrowed it back down to one mando.
Whatever program these guys are on, I feel like it's the opposite of the Hug a Tree program. They're tagging them left and right. Oh, just off.
Right side chains. Solid putt to save her bogey.
You wouldn't expect a 249-foot dead center straightaway hole to play at 3.29, the 8th most difficult hole on the course. I know it's not a gimme birdie by any means, but to see so many struggles, well, I guess you see how it can happen. You hit an early tree and you still have a wall of trees to contend with the whole way down. So let's see if they can improve on that during round 2. But now they head over to what I believe is their longest hole of the day, or one of them.
5, yep, 794 feet. This one has a lot of natural OB, so the water on the left lines as OB, and then the road on the right is also OB. You have two options. You'll see some players cut over the water to cut the corner to get to the basket, or this way that we're going now, they'll go around the grouping of trees on that corner. They did move the basket really close to the water this year. I believe it's about 15 feet.
And if you've watched any MPO coverage, notice that the rule is a little bit different here. On the MPO side, they must go to the left of the a mandatory pole that's out there, forcing the water carry. Here on the FPO side, they can go around the back side of the tree. So that is a clarification, as Cat Mertsch just barely leaks into the water.
Oh, that's looking great. Good turn. Ideally, if you can get a perfect flex shot, that's the perfect tee shot. But honestly, if you're going to miss, you want to miss to the right and stay away from the water on the left.
What a safe play here by Kristin. Safe and effective in that she's, of course, fighting away from the water, but she's getting a good distance with it. I feel like a lot of people go to the sidearm and give up distance. Kristin, not nearly as much as a lot of other competitors. So
Eveliina as well. Just about 30 feet behind Kristin's shot.
And I am excited to see the different strategies that can be taken. Who's looking to go over the water, who's looking to play safe out and behind the trees.
I feel like usually if you see somebody going towards the water, or if they're going to plan to go over the water, they'll try to put their second shot closer to the edge.
Yeah, as we just saw there by Missy a moment ago, it looks like that's what she's setting herself up for. Kristin's going to go with the play out and around, so not really messing with the water at all.
Yeah, going around the grouping of trees definitely adds more distance for you to get to the basket. But if you're not in a comfortable position after your second shot, you definitely don't want to sacrifice a disc to go into the water.
And if you're going to play to the right of that grouping of trees, you want to be wide. When you're tight, like where we're seeing Kat right now, she's going to have a very difficult approach that's either going to be obstructed and or blind. And now we're seeing Missy go out over, and she clears it, and she's green side in 3 with a long look for the birdie.
Yeah, I don't imagine a lot of people will be actually going to pin the basket. I think it's just really to get it over, to make your approach as easy as possible.
And also over in 3 with about 20 meters left to the pin.
Kristin working around the corner, just trying to get as much distance to the basket as possible.
That'll set her up for a birdie look from 14 meters.
Ooh.
This is just a spot you rarely see someone throwing from.
Oh, it hits the gap perfectly.
She does. That is very well executed. Wow. Just outside of the circle.
Yeah, but imagine if she didn't have that tunnel. You
Yeah.
know, it'd be really tricky to get some distance towards the basket.
Yeah, that's where 10 feet, you know, more or less would have really put her out of position. So fortunate to have that alleyway that she did as Missy's up near the basket.
Do you think she was going for that?
No, she really, sometimes when her position is of a greater distance, I think that's to her advantage, because then that allows her a nice comfortable layup where she's not necessarily even running at it, and then she can have an easy tap in. And I think that's exactly what we saw there. Kristin, on the other hand, definitely running it. Just a tickle of chain, but not enough. This did come in as the second most difficult hole on the course for our competitors today. Averaged 5.56. So more than a half stroke over par, even though our card is taking it pretty good overall. Just 3 birdies on the day, coming from Val Mundahano, Ella Hansen, and Jennifer Allen as we head over to 6.
Hole 6, a par 3 at 282 feet. There's OB water on the left, and then it really gets tight up against the green. If you go deep or right of the basket, there is OB to be found. You're really just trying to swing a right to left hyzer, something stable, dead straight, and let it fade back in. You see a lot of skips on this hole, but you don't want to skip too close to the sand because you could flare into the water. So really, if you're going to play a skip shot, you want to swing it wide.
Quite attackable. You only need about 250, 260 feet worth of distance. If you play the skip just right, well, you land just outside the bullseye as Missy does. Perfectly played. And even the best part about that is her putt will be putting away from the water.
Correct.
So although it's a relatively short putt, she's putting away from the water. So
Definitely.
a little wider here for Tattar. I love the angle, though.
Yeah, but you see the skip, it skipped about 40 feet away from the beach, and it still goes in. Imagine if you skipped, too close, then now you're skipping into the water. Very low, lots of speed.
Come on, come on.
She needs the... Oh, and it hits off and hits actually the basket, but then still carries out of bounds. So exactly what you're saying with that speed, even though she hit part of the basket, didn't slow her down enough.
Cat swinging nice and wide.
And that goes too deep, yeah.
So you can't take it out where it went out of bounds. You have to go immediately to the drop zone, which is a couple paces outside of circle 1.
Putting directly at the water.
Yeah, it's really hard to give a committed bid on that basket.
Cat second-guessing herself there. Here's Kristin. No problems picking up the birdie. This hole does play as one of the easier holes. 14th most difficult. Average 2.93 for the day. So not quite a must-get, but definitely on the easier side. Again, you're right-handed. Throw it 250, maybe 260. Let the skip do a little bit of work so you're checking up in the sand. So we'll see 2 birdies and 2 bogeys.
Next time. Can I touch that?
No,
I don't think so.
I can though.
All right, there's rules about being able to retrieve the disc due to the wetlands, protections, out of bounds, things of that nature. They were very much warned of that during the players' meeting, so taking it quite seriously. Katrina Allen picks up 1 more birdie in the next 3 holes. Heidi Leine is sitting at 3 under. She's off to a pretty good start, and we head over to hole 7, the famous bamboo hole.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites. I think it's such a fun hole. 284-foot triple mando. You must go through the bamboo wall. Very fun shot. You'll see a lot of mid-ranges or hyzer flips to try to get through. Very
Also have
iconic.
deep of the basket, you can find OB. That's where we just saw that fencing. That pretty much is where the OB starts, deep of the pin. So this isn't just an outright pull that you with no repercussions. Have to have a little finesse. And that's exactly what.
Ooh.
Oh, it flipped up on her. Now, fortunate that she hits the OB, or I'm sorry, that she hits the bamboo. Had she missed that more to the right and gone past that point, she would actually be considered missing the Mando.
Right.
And she would take a penalty stroke. So if you miss, you want to just barely miss on this hole, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And you see Kristin and Eveliina with the hyzer shot. What they're trying to do is spike it through the Mando, but they're coming up just short. Oh, and Kat knew immediately.
Let's wrap it up.
Just a misrelease.
Right out of her hand. So now what's really unique about this is there are two different sets of drop zones, so to speak, that you could play from, whether it's the left or the right. She's opting over there for the left side. Goes with the forehand roller. Still has some work to do.
Ooh, tries to give it a run. And really, the closer you are to the wall, the more awkward it gets. It's really difficult.
And great angle there for Missy. She puts a little more angle on that and catches edge. She could even find out of bounds. So you usually find our players are in their most contorted stances on this particular hole every single year as Kristin draws metal. Not quite able to cash in the birdie, but a good bid. This is Kat to save her 4.
I don't think that she missed the Mando. I think she checked up short. So she wasn't on that left side drop zone.
Good call. Thank you.
So good par save with that roller.
Certainly was. And Missy is in. Clean scorecard. And they'll take a quick walk over to the tee of 8 here.
Hole 8, par 5 at 697 feet. There is a lot of OB left. Really, that whole tree line all the way to the basket is going to be out of bounds. The right side is a little bit different. The right side plays as a hazard up until you get to the baseball field here on your right. Then it becomes out of bounds. You're just trying to get a tee shot as far as you can, and then you start working your way through this tunnel where the basket sits up on the hill a little bit to the right. The upshot is tricky. Your second shot's really difficult because you have that OB on the left, especially as a right-hand player, and the slope kind of goes down and filters that way as well.
Thank you.
Looks nice and safe, right in the middle.
Yeah, she would take that all 4 rounds if you offered it up to her. That's a great tee shot.
Also a great tee shot from Kristin.
Hole 8 places the second easiest hole. It is a par 5 that's just shy of 700 feet. There's plenty of danger, but a little on the soft side for a par 5. And that just means that you're going to have to step up and take advantage of it.
I think this course sets up really well for the FPO and the scoring abilities. You see all those scores that are under par already on the leaderboard.
And what appears to be the longest drive in the group, Kat Mertsch.
So Eveliina trying to stay away from the OB on the left and opts for a forehand.
And that will put her in great position to be able to get up and down from there. Very much in birdie range.
Wanting that to flip some more. Must be safe.
Yeah, there's, I believe that's an OB fence that's down on that left side, and usually it has to be much higher to then eventually cross over the top of that fence. You see a little slip here
Ooh.
by Kristin, but doesn't appear to affect the actual
Looks
throw.
just fine.
I wish my slips were that good.
Give you more width into it.
A little flex forehand. It ramps off of Kristin's disc.
Wow, and that's going to give her a long look at an eagle opportunity.
I would probably run that.
You don't get to set yourself up for eagles often, so especially when you have, we'll say, the overall confidence and excitability that we see out of Kat Mertsch. You know she's running that.
Nice approach.
Yeah. About the bush, I'll be all right.
Kristin with the long look.
Just on the top of the hillside, that should be a tap-in birdie for her.
You know what I just noticed? They took away the sticks
Yes.
that were around the basket.
On this particular hole, there are not any of the mozzarella sticks, as they've been called, or artificial trees, like I believe we're going to see on the next hole. And a wide open putt here, and a great conversion by Eveliina.
Nice birdie putt by Missy.
Kind of wonder if Arby's is a little disappointed. Last year they really embraced the whole mozzarella stick, and we saw them posting on social media. And we know that Arby's is a fan of disc golf. They've got discs that they've stamped up and made available to disc golfers. So Arby's, if you're out there listening, I could use a big roast beef. All right, now we're moving over to 9.
A hole 9, a par 4 at 362 feet. If you didn't see, there were 3 trees in front of the tee pad, so they're going to have to pick a gap in between one of those trees. And all of this that you see, the rock lining, it's a OB. So really, there's about a 50-foot strip. It's about 10 feet behind the basket, 20 to 30 feet before the basket. So I'm being a little generous with 50 feet, but it's a little peninsula the basket sits on. There is safe fairway on the right side as well. So you're going to see some aggressive shots going over the OB or some safe shots laying up to the right-hand side.
It's a little spooky out here. Wow.
Is it Christmas or is it Halloween?
I'm thinking Halloween. Trick or treat is the question.
And Missy plays a safe hyzer off to the right-hand side. Now, Kristin looks like she's lining up to go straight at it.
Wow, she's going to put a little flex on it, and that's going to work back perfectly. And
Woo!
362 feet, and she's parked herself just a few feet from the basket.
For an eagle. Tap in eagle. Eveliina looking to do the same thing.
And that goes a little bit deeper, and so she'll have an obstructed putt, or at least have that one tree that might come into play, but safe. And also, yeah, as you said, look at eagle. See what Kat Mertsch can do. She's going for it with just straight hyzer. Does she have enough carry? She does.
Beautiful.
Impressive. That's 362 on a hyzer the entire way.
I would like to mention that we are watching some of the best women in the world. So traditionally, if you're not a far thrower, you're doing what Missy's doing and going off to the right-hand side. So it's not granted, there's 3 women inside the circle for an eagle look, but that's not traditional.
Yeah, that is a lengthy carry to find yourself as close as they have. I mean, that, looking at where Eveliina had landed, that means she had almost a 400-foot drive. Missy is in for the birdie, so just chips away at it. Not going to be mad with a birdie. Eveliina now, after the very errant second shot, this is just for her birdie. So even though she drove it to the green, Eveliina's putting woes show up here on the final hole of the front 9.
Solid putt by Kat. Look at Missy's scorecard. Very clean.
Doing work out there. Eveliina is going to be a little frustrated with herself after driving the green, and what a great way for our world champ to close out the front 9. She picks up a birdie, or correction, she picks up the eagle.
I'm showing off her disc.
Love that. As we take a quick look, Eveliina with her 6 under continues to tear it up. Kristin right behind her. We're seeing the great action out of Missy there. And looks like Kat Mertsch also still finding herself in our top 10. So that's our front 9, Christine. I like where this is headed.
I do too. This is getting really exciting. And I think the back 9 gets a little trickier. So let's see how they play it.
Well, I'm going to go out and buckle up because we've got more action coming to you guys. That has been round 1, front 9 at the Women's Disc Golf Championship by Throw Pink. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Christine Jennings. Thank you to everyone supporting and watching the Disc Golf Network. We'll see you guys on the back 9.